Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
Bounce is back.
You ready?
Come on. It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
So, what do you want to do? I'm here, baby. I'm ready, baby. I'm waiting on you. Believe me, I am patiently waiting on you. Yeah, there's something wrong with me. Every time I'm alone with you, you keep talking about you loving me.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. We over here jamming already. You know, Andy had to hit us with the jam already. Happy heavenly birthday to the Barry White. Oh my goodness. And that's the jam too. Andy knows what he's doing all the time. Woo! Yeah, Andy. I'm telling you, that is the jam. Okay, all right. Well, it is Tuesday, and we have another great show for you lined up today. I'm really excited to talk about it with a fantastic contributor that we have for you guys. I'm jamming over here. We grooving. We be grooving on this show. Well, listen, if you do want to call in, I encourage you to do that. You can call in at 1-800-920-1580. You could also join us right now over in YouTube. That's so much fun engaging with you guys and listening, or watching rather, your opinions on the matter. And then to see you guys sort of go back and forth. That's kind of cool too. So definitely join us, KBLA 1580. That's at our YouTube. And that's all of our social media platforms, as a matter of fact. And please, if you have not already, download our KBLA 1580 app. You can do something called Open Mic, which is the feature that's at the bottom. It's really cool. You can say hello to any of your favorite people that you listen to here at the station, or if you want to give your opinion on anything, feel free to use that app as well. All right, I do want to go ahead and get into this. Not too much of an update. I don't have any updates that I want to give to you guys, but that's all the better because we can really get in on our Raw Report. Andy, let's drop it.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. We want to know, this is one of those topics. This is really one of those topics where you are on one side or the other. What do you say about rich people? Well, not just what do you say about rich people, but what do you say about rich people who are asking for donations? In this case, we're talking about Maui. As you know, they recently experienced the deadly wildfires over there in Maui. Oprah has property there, at land over there. She she loves the people there. She was on site helping out as well. And as you know, we talked about it here on the Raw Report that Oprah, as well as The Rock, they got together and put together their own resources, and they helped to start a relief fund called the Maui Relief Fund. And they did a video talking about it, and they are asking for donations. But the question, and what we're going to break down today, is what do you think about that? Some people are like, I don't know, it's sitting kind of wrong, but we'll discuss that on the other end. We're also going to talk about Kevin Porter Jr. He plays for the Houston Rockets. And he was recently arrested for domestic abuse with his girlfriend. I really want to talk about the fact that there seems to be sort of a culture. There are many things that we can point out as far as culture being concerned inside the NBA. But this specifically, we're going to talk about this and what the standards are, what needs to happen within the NBA. We will talk about that also on the other side. And we've got a question of the day for you as well. So you guys stay tuned, sit back, kick back, relax, kick your feet up, all that good stuff. We're going to get to it on the other side. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at The Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. I know you've been hearing the promo over and over again about our event this Saturday, about contracts and how you can get in the contract pipeline. Just want to remind you, it is this Saturday. Space is limited. Here's Dion Rambo to tell you more about what you can expect this Saturday.
Yo, what's up? This is Rambo, and again, you know the three words, contracts, contracts, contracts. This Saturday, there's one place you have to go right now, KBLA1580.com. If you want to see us talk about contracts, talk about grants, you got Caltrans who made all this possible. I'm super excited. You guys all know Rambo's been in the community fighting for you. Now, we got Tavis fighting alongside. This is huge. KBLA1580.com this Saturday. See you guys.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Rizumkizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity, and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online. Qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, you already know. I like the fact that I'm never here to talk about these things by myself. Today, I have a wonderful contributor whom I love when she calls in. You guys love her, too. Her name is Whitley J. Yates. Please welcome her to the Raw Report. Hello, Whitley.
Hello. I'm so excited to be on the Raw Report today.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for the energy. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. Always good to have you here. And I definitely love talking about topics with you and breaking them down and getting your point of view. So I really want to get into this right now. We got to break this down, you and I. And please, if you're listening and you want to call in and you want to give your opinion on this matter, please do. We are talking about the fact that Nick Cannon he has a podcast, but what doesn't Nick Cannon have? I mean, Nick Cannon is all over radio, television, movies, all the above. Well, he was recently talking about the Maui Relief Fund that Oprah and The Rock had come out talking about. We actually have a clip that that I want to play for you guys. It's Nick Cannon discussing his point of view when they talk about the fact that both Oprah and The Rock have asked for money. They're both rich, but they've asked for donations. Can we go ahead and play this clip right now?
Oprah and The Rock. People are blasting them both for asking to donate to Maui Relief, even though they have so much money themselves.
That makes perfect sense. to
It
me.
does
Like,
not.
they are the richest people in the world.
Just because you're a millionaire or billionaire or whatever the situation is, that does not mean that you have to help. You know how many calamities there are that rich people could throw money
I think
at?
it's a part of your responsibility to give back.
The Rock and Oprah have the friend circle to do that.
They are showing visibility. They're showing, hey.
I can appreciate boots on the ground, seeing Oprah helping.
Oprah was in the shelters, in the places with the people, passing out pillows, passing out covers.
That's great.
Doing the work.
I love that.
And they did kick off the fundraiser by dropping $10 million in the pot.
It's in poor taste for a billionaire to ask anyone for money. I don't care what the situation is.
Wow. Whoa. He said it's in poor taste. That came from Nick Cannon's mouth. Whitley, where do you stand? I feel like there's only one of two places you can be on this particular subject. Do you agree with Nick Cannon that if you are rich, you have no business asking for donations, because between you and whomever else, in this case, we're talking about Oprah and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, between the two of them, they can probably fund this entire thing, but yet they're asking for donations. Where do you stand with it?
Can I be honest?
Please do, by all means.
I think that when wealthy people utilize their platforms to get other people to notice issues, it's incumbent upon them to do that. I feel like that's a part of having those platforms. Now, a lot of these platforms come with prominence and provision, as Oprah is a multi-billionaire, I believe. I don't know if The Rock Dwayne Johnson has any billions. He's a multi-millionaire, and they've given millions of dollars themselves. Now, it would be a different situation if they were asking people and they hadn't given. They hadn't donated or done anything, but they've given their own time, resource, treasure, etc. They've given millions of dollars to this, and they're asking other people to give. I don't understand why he's upset. I'm trying to find where his problem is, because they're not talking to people making $35,000, Nick. They're talking to people like you making $20 million. So they're talking to their donor network and people within their circles. They're not asking the average Joe out here struggling to survive to donate to Maui. They're utilizing their platform to ask people who have the money to help as well.
That's even interesting that you say they're asking other people who have money. I think his logic, I think a lot of people agree with Nick on this subject, because the logic in it is that, listen, the two of you and even your friends, if you want to make private conversations or private phone calls to your close-knit billionaires club or multimillionaires club, they could all take care of this. I think that's the logic behind it. But for Nick Cannon to actually say it's in poor taste for pretty much any rich person to ask for money, I think that is so misinformed. Here's where I stand on the situation. They put this out publicly. They didn't say, if you have money, go ahead and donate. They put this out publicly. The reason why this is important, especially if you talk to anybody who's spiritual, people... Well, I'll step to the side for a second. I'll place that to the side, but I'm going to get back to the spirituality thing in a second. But as a whole, when you're a civilian, when you just live in society, you want to know how you can contribute to the world. You want to do anything you can to contribute to the world. And for some people, that is getting the clothes together in their closet and maybe donating to a nearby organization or whatever, the Goodwill. It doesn't matter. Some people will do that. Other people will, when they go to the grocery store and they're checking out, and on the little machine it says, do you want to donate an extra? Do you want to round up and donate the extra 20 cents to a particular hospital or a particular cause? Some people will do that. people have their different means of contributing to the world. We don't even know where that money goes, to be quite honest with you. I don't know, Willie, if you've ever done it. They do it to me all the time. Do you want to donate $1? Do you want to round up and donate your change? And sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Even though I'm hoping that you guys are doing what you say that you're doing with this extra money, but we don't know. Truth be told, we really don't know. But my point is that most people in the world want to contribute in any way that they can. So for some people, for them to put this out there, this could be a way that they feel that they're contributing to society. They're contributing to someone who doesn't even live nearby. Now, the spirituality aspect of it, which I wanted to talk about, you know, in the Bible, they talk about the fact that, sowing, cheerful sowing, and sowing your last, and sowing a certain amount that you own, like your tithes and your offerings. They talk about that. And I believe that for some people, this is their way, whether they have the means, so to speak, to do it or not. So I think I agree with what you said, Whitley, but I think even deeper about that. I think, not just even people with money, but also just the everyday person who says, I have $5 I can send. I have an extra $5. Does this make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. And I think one of the other issues that we're kind of leaving out or not necessarily talking about is that usually when things happen within our country, we band together to help. When there was the issue in Texas and they needed water, there was an issue with electricity, et cetera, the country comes together, people come together to help. That is very normal. Now, these, the millennials out here, I don't know if they remember public service announcements. There were these commercials. They used to come on. It would have all these different celebrities and athletes, et cetera, talking about different issues that they cared about, asking people to donate money to all of these different causes. Now, these were more like proactive public service announcements, but I kind of view this as a public service announcement to say, hey, guys, this is happening right here in our own country. We can be of help. We've helped. Can you help? And I think now people are so socially aware, and they are looking at all of these different things that you're triggered by someone donating $10 million and asking other people to donate. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you be so triggered by someone wanting to help out other residents in this country when you yourself are a multi-millionaire? Mm. Like, it's not like he is separate from The Rock. He probably has greater net worth than The Rock, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And so why is it that you're triggered that these people are deciding to utilize their platform, to utilize their prominence to bring attention to an issue, to put their money towards it and asking other people to? Mm-hmm. Why are you triggered now?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and you raised that question well. Pretty Brown Mimi says, well, forensic accountant says Californians need to be careful when answering the question. I believe what you're talking about is at the checkout stand when you're at the register. There's a lot of anti-California bias in America. You could be next. Pretty Brown Mimi says Oprah and Dwayne don't have to do anything. This is U.S. government responsibility to help our fellow citizens. Well, that's another thing. I mean, if Oprah and The Rock are talking about, well, all we're going to do is put on this PSA and we just hope you guys donate, that's one thing. I mean, but even that is a big deal because they're a commercial. I mean, reaching millions and millions of people. So using their platform and their voices is really good. I think that is also a resource. But in addition, they went ahead and put $10 million of their own money into this. So for them, I think people are like, well, why wasn't it $100 million? Why wasn't it $500 million? Why didn't you guys put the whole thing in there? And I think it's just such selfish thinking. People are so myopic in their view. But the other part of it is, I was going to say this as you were talking. I was thinking about the fact that sometimes we don't think, you said that we come together, we sort of galvanize, right, around a particular subject, or not a subject, but something traumatic that happens, right? That's really optimistic. That's really optimistic. And I think that's a beautiful way of thinking. And you're not wrong. But oftentimes I see people who sort of look the other way because it doesn't affect their immediate proximity. You see what I'm saying? They're like, oh, well, that's over. That's across the waters, even though Hawaii is still up there, a part of us. But they don't think, that it affects them necessarily. So some people, a lot of people won't necessarily look internally and say, well, what could I do to help out? So that's really unfortunate with the way people think. I think so much could be solved if we looked at each other. I love Penny Thompson in here. She made a great point. She was like, being a good Samaritan, just be a good Samaritan. And that means not just in your own, community, your own 5-mile radius. That means in the country, in the world. How do you give back to the world?
And I want to kind of touch on something that Forensic Accountant had said about California needs to kind of be careful, because the truth is they are one natural disaster away from being like Maui as well. We know what has been happening with wildfires in California and the lack of aid that California's been getting, and the mudslides as well, the earthquakes. So I think what Forensic Accountant was attempting to say is like, this could be us next. So while we are chastising, or while Nick is chastising these people for help, and California may need some help soon. Also, one of the people said it should be the government responsibility to help fellow citizens. Let's talk about that, because a lot of people have been a little bit upset with the current administration because they have been sending a lot of money to Ukraine. And now that Maui is having this natural disaster, and they say $700 isn't enough. It's not enough for them, especially when you're sending billions to other countries. So I think right now, kind of the overall sense is we got to really be taking care of home and making sure that those that are in the United States are doing well and have a good quality of life before we start looking abroad, sending money abroad, sending aid abroad, because we've got some issues that we need to tackle right here.
Yeah, I think that's well said, but unfortunately, that's simplified, And I know you know this. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But anytime we start talking about the government, we're talking about a political point of view here. This is all politics. You know what I'm saying? And so I wish that we can get back to humanity. Humanity is all that matters. There's nothing wrong with helping Ukraine. There's nothing wrong with that. But can we look at what's going on in our own backyard? Right. And that's the biggest problem that I have. I mean, when we start, obviously, this could get into a whole other conversation about voting and, getting our people to vote. I mean, we can go on in that direction, but I'm gonna draw it back in for a second, because there's, sometimes you want to say there's nothing we could do about that, but there is. I mean, obviously we could start with the vote, but sometimes when we're looking so high, we're talking about the government and those people who are running our country. That's fine, and we should hold them accountable. But sometimes we have to bring it back down to a different level, and to talk about ourselves, look at each other, and say, what can we do to help? So at the end of the day, I applaud Oprah. I applaud Dwayne The Rock. I don't know whether to call him Dwayne or The Rock. I keep just call him The Rock. Just call him Dwayne. Just call him Dwayne The Rock Johnson is what Andy says I should do. Okay. I applaud the two of them for using their voices and their money. And what we know about anything, we've been talking about this over the past couple of days or several days. What we know is that no matter how much good you do in the world, people are always, always, always going to find something wrong with it and blame you for something. That's just the bottom line of it. Andy,
I know that's right.
Yeah. Andy, you wanted to go ahead and say something?
Black folk, we have, and I stand to be corrected, I think we have like $3 trillion spending power.
Yes.
If all of us just dropped $1, we definitely can help. We can move mountains. All of us have a Netflix account, right? We spend that $10, or now it's like $15, $16 a month now. Take $1 out of that situation. We can help out.
100%. Yeah, I mean, we can do that. We can do that all day. I mean, that kind of goes back to my point, though, of, the fact that we only really care about what's going on in I'm using a general statement here, but in our own home, in our own backyard, with our own family. But the problem with that is what you reap, you also will sow. So I feel that's why I always try to do good in the world. I try to put goodness into the world because I've been so blessed in my life, and there's no real reason why. There's no real reason, but I'm telling you, I am a good person. I do good in the world, and so that has come back to me triple, quadruple fold. And that to me is the answer. I feel like if we looked at things from that perspective, we, rather than holding on and trying to grab at straws and grab at the pennies that you got because you don't want to give to anybody else, if you released it, it'll come back to you triple fold. My thoughts, Whitley. I ain't trying to preach, but I'm saying that's a word.
Come on, press down, shaking together, and running over. Let them know.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because a blessing ain't never missed me.
A blessing ain't missed me either. Whitley, come on now. She over here speaking my language. Fahima Sex says, no good deed goes unpunished. Absolutely. Very, very well said. Get on board this positive train headed to heaven, Penny Thompson says. Love one another, to help one another, and without the negative vibes. I completely understand and agree with you. Deborah Chacoa says we shouldn't wait for the government. People need to help people as crises arise. Remember Katrina. Yes. Applause. Yes, applause. Hunter Wellington, we should not wait, but it takes a village, and the government is part of that village. They absolutely are. All right, well, listen, we're going to table that conversation and move on to our next conversation because I really want to get your opinion on this NBA, the culture of the NBA and the WNBA as it relates to sports in general. We'll talk about that on the other side. Right now, we've got news, traffic, and sports. You're listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Lil Real Howery. Right now, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. That's right. The Raw Report.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The White House insists the U.S. is not giving money to Iran despite a $6 billion transfer of funds to the regime. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller says the money does not belong to the U.S.
These are Iran's funds. These are Iranian money.
The money was part of a recent prisoner swap involving 5 Americans. The Biden administration allowed banks to transfer the frozen Iranian cash that was previously off limits due to sanctions. A Senate hearing is looking at a push to remove what some see as sexually suggestive books from public school libraries. Student activist Cameron Samuels feels these book bans are leading to more hate. Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee argued that nobody is banning these books. The idea, they say, is to make sure there's only age-appropriate materials in school libraries. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
A Sigillard accident in San Dimas currently has 3 left lanes closed on the 210 east before the 57, while stop traffic continues from the 605 up to 55 minutes. In Glendora, a motorcycle-involved accident has a Sigillard issued as the carpool lane is blocked on the 210 west at Sunflower Avenue. Stop traffic continues from South Lone Hill Avenue until further notice. All lanes are closed currently in Cerritos as an overturned crash continues to cause stop traffic on the 605 south between South Street and Del Amo Boulevard over 55 minutes.
Want to save on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom blinds, shades, and shutters at prices less than big box retailers. Order 10 free samples of any product and we'll ship them to you for free. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Labor Day sale. Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A very tough day for New York Jets fans in Southern California and around the country. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers will miss the entire season after suffering a torn Achilles tendon in Monday night's game against Buffalo. The Dodgers are quietly moving on from pitcher Julio Arias. The team cleaned out his locker and removed artwork outside Dodger Stadium featuring his image. Urias is facing felony domestic violence charges. He was involved in an incident with a woman outside BMO Stadium on September 3rd. Urias is due in court on September 27th. Before Sunday's game in Seattle, a prominent website ranked the Rams defensive backs as the worst in the NFL. The Rams DBs helped the defense limit Seattle to just 12 net yards in the second half. The 1-0 Rams play the 49ers Sunday at SoFi. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar,
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580. JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Hi, this is LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to the 28th Annual Central Avenue Jazz Festival on September the 23rd from 11 to 7 p.m. For nearly 3 decades, the Central Avenue Jazz Festival has paid homage to the legendary Central Avenue and its influence on jazz history. Jazz, blues, and Latin jazz will be featured on 3 stages of music. Co-headlining are Hubert Laws with special guest Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. Parking is limited, so Metro and rideshare are recommended. Hubert Laws with special guests Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. For more information, visit CentralAveJazzFest.com. CentralAveJazzFest.com. See you on the 23rd.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on.
Who's got next?
And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
What's that on that beat?
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Middle finger up to my competition.
You are inside the
yeah,
Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Happy birthday to 2 Chainz. Hey. All right. Let's dive on back into our conversations. If you are just joining us, well, welcome. Where have you been? Welcome to the Raw Report. We were just having a conversation on the other side, talking about rich people and should rich people be asking for donations. Oprah and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they have helped to create the Maui Relief Fund, and we know that they've donated $10 million to this fund, but they're still putting it out there in case anybody else does want to donate. Some people think that is in bad taste. Nick Cannon says there's basically no reason for any rich person to ask for money. He thinks that it's in poor taste. I disagree with that. And it seems like for the most part, most of you do as well. And according to our chat, 77% of you said that that they should be asking for donations. 22% of you disagree. But I do want to go ahead and move forward with our conversation with Whitley Yates, who we have on the phone joining the Rob Report. And, okay, Whitley, okay. I have this is trigger warning. We are talking about domestic violence. We are talking about abuse between relationships. And this is all within the sports arena. But specifically right now, we're talking about the NBA and the WNBA as it pertains to Kevin Porter Jr., who was arrested over in New York for assault as well as strangulation of his girlfriend, 26-year-old Kaiser Gondrezick, and she suffered a whole fractured neck vertebrae. I mean, I'm talk about triggered, Whitley. Like, I'm so triggered by this entire story. Before I move on to talk about our thoughts on what happens and what should happen as a result of these charges and things like that, give me your thoughts. I know you saw the story, heard about the story. He has since posted bail, $75,000 bail, and so he's free. I don't know if they're going to work it out between him and his WNBA beautiful girlfriend. By the way, she's an actress and a model, but she also plays she's a free agent now, but she plays for the WNBA. Your thoughts on this, Whitley? I'm triggered.
I think anytime there's accusations and allegations of domestic violence and someone has been hurt, that it's a very serious matter. I think that reading some of the details of this story was saddening, enraging. I'll say this. There have been a lot of domestic cases, specifically with celebrities, entertainers, and athletes that have come up in the last 2 to 3 years. And I think we're told that, the air is to believe all women, especially in cases like this. And so after reading this story and hearing about the fractures, and some of the fractures, are very intrusive, right? I'm kind of waiting to see how the NBA is going to react, but I'm also waiting to see what other information is released, because I do remember feeling this exact same way about Jonathan Majors, and we know how that story kind of turned out. So I am saddened, as someone that was a victim of domestic violence. I'm saddened by hearing it, but I'm cautious to condemn until I see all the facts, because as of late, there have been a lot of hoax happening and things going on where people are saying one thing and then we find out it's something else. But my heart goes out to anybody that is suffering or dealing with domestic violence or in any types of those relationships where you are not safe. There is a center in Los Angeles called the Genesis Center that you can go to if you or someone you know is struggling with domestic violence and looking to get away.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And prayerfully, if anybody needs help, that they're hearing this, they heard your message. I hear you. I definitely hear you in regards to having all the information. That is usually what I live by. And in this case, I think there is enough information for me. I think there's enough. We've seen where there's reports of what she suffered. There's reports of what she's going through, and physical evidence of her body, her person, what she had gone through, and the fact that he was arrested and charged is enough for me. this is a little bit too early to see what his consequences are going to be, but we do know that recently, I mean, the list goes on, by the way. If you look up NBA and the culture and how many people have been arrested for domestic violence, just that specific situation alone, that umbrella alone, there are so many players. We were talking about the MLB. It's technically, he's an MLB player, Julio Urias. Am I pronouncing this right? Urias plays for the Dodgers, and he was recently charged with domestic violence as well, because he was seen having a physical altercation with a woman who turns out to be his wife, if I'm not mistaken by that, right here at the BMO Stadium. This was in LA. This was after a soccer match. It turns out that there was video footage of it. People didn't know at the time that he was a Dodger, and they turned it over to authorities, and sure enough, they find out that it's him. And it says, though, if you read into it, that his locker has recently been removed from the clubhouse. I'm sure there are some other things that have followed as they're investigating this situation. And you hear those words a lot. And oftentimes I know just as a community, because I read a lot, and I read people's comments, and I'm pretty thorough with that type of thing. People don't like to hear when there is evidence. They don't like to hear we're investigating this situation. We're investigating the incident. They don't like to hear that. They want to know what we see on camera. Now, sure enough, we don't know what could have happened prior. We have to give some grace there, some leniency, because we don't know the fullness. But what we see oftentimes on camera is enough for a lot of people to say that's enough for me. So in that case, he has, his locker has been taken away. But we also know that Miles, yes, he was
Miles Bridges from the Hornets.
Yes, he was recently also charged for domestic violence, and he was given a 30-game suspension. And my thing is this, though, Whitley, like, and a lot of these players are young, by the way. A lot of these players are young and dumb, and don't know any better, or they do know better, by the way. So that's a correction on my part. They do know better, but they have not really experienced real life yet. They've sort of come from humble beginnings. All of a sudden they're in the league. They're getting all this money. Women throwing themselves at them. If they have a spouse or a partner, they're like, okay, well, you need to adhere to my lifestyle, and what I say goes, because I'm pretty much funding this whole thing. So this is how a lot of the players think, and I know because I knew a lot of players back in the day. I knew a lot of players. So I'm not saying that overall, that I'm being very general here, but not every guy thinks that way in the NBA or just in different leagues. But my thing is this: is a 30-game suspension enough for actual proof and being charged with domestic violence to a degree where you have fractured someone's neck vertebrae? Now, I'm not saying 30. We're talking about two different incidents here, but I'm just saying, I'm just taking that as a general principality. Now, taking that 30-game suspension and putting that over here to Kevin Porter Jr. Would that be enough, or is it like, no, we don't want to have anything to do with you at all, so we're kicking you off our team or getting rid of you? What works here in this incident?
I think it's really hard to set a basic standard because all of these cases are different. However, you are noticing a culture of domestic violence when it's coming from athletes. And I think that the NBA should change its stance on how they're dealing with these cases on a case-by-case basis, because I do think that they need to set the standard that it's not okay. If you think back, we have the issue with Ray Rice. You have Lance Stevenson, where he had allegedly pushed somebody down the stairs. There have been many different incidents. I even think Ron Artest at one point allegedly had an incident. So there have been many different incidents with athletes, basketball players, football players, professional athletes that have been in these domestic disputes. We've watched videos of altercations and different things like that. And while I understand it's kind of hard to make a baseline determination when each case is different, I think that their stance needs to be stronger to create a culture so that if you perpetuate these acts of violence, then you know that the consequences will be heavy.
Yeah, definitely. And I do want to give this update. Thank you to Forrest. I lost the comment. Okay. Forrest Harrison says Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias was let go from the team today. Wow, today for domestic violence. I like that. I like that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the swift movement, the swift action of the Dodgers. I will say this, though. You know how we've developed a standard. This is the last thing I'll say, and we'll kind of wrap it up. But we have, just in society, just as an overall standard, we say when it comes to a woman who is accusing someone of sexual assault, we say believe her first. Believe her first. That is the standard, right? And then if, after he's been tried and, you look into, you further investigate, you find that he is innocent of that, then, obviously there are consequences for this woman who claimed, who claimed something else, right? But the immediate standard is to believe the woman first. Well, here's the thing. I believe we should have a standard when it comes to domestic violence, especially in cases where, police have been called out, especially where there are there's physical evidence upon one person or another, by the way, person or another. I'm not saying it's just women, because there are certainly men. We have seen it over and over and over again, where women are actually the perpetrator, right? So, but there should be a standard of believe you first and then let us do some investigation and see. Now, that's just on the legal tip. Going back to the actual league, again, standard. The first standard is, in my opinion, the immediate standard is, okay, we're letting you go. Period, point blank. Not to what degree did it happen, not to, not that. And then, if you, or at least administrative leave or something like that, where you're not playing, not just an automatic. I don't even think an automatic suspension, because that's saying, okay, after these 15 games are up, you're back in. No, I think that you need to find out everything that happens before you're allowing any player back in. That's my thought on the standard.
I would agree too. To be benched, taken out until the court proceedings, et cetera, have gone through. I think that overall, this is going to be tough, because I think what it says when they don't remove the players and the players are playing with the accusations over their heads, while everyone is innocent until proven guilty, I think the problem is it could create a culture that you value entertainment and sports over the life, well-being, and safety of the people who've been abused. And I think that is a very dangerous precedent to set, that ticket sales, that basketball games, and that championships are greater than someone's life is not the precedent that the NBA wants to set. And I'm pretty sure it's not the message that they want to send to little girls watching. So
definitely,
I think they have to be very careful about how they're handling these situations, but they also need to create a culture where people feel safe, right, engaging with athletes. And I think that it's the NBA's responsibility and the owner's responsibility and the athlete's responsibility to make sure that they're upholding such a standard.
Completely agree with you. Lavelle Delone says, immediate suspension pending investigation. That's the perfect way to put it. Well, Whitley, obviously, I love talking to you. Thank you so much for calling the Rob Report. Let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, you guys can find me at Whitley J. Yates on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, she said that was some authority. Put some respect on your name. All right. Well, we appreciate you, Whitley J. Yates, on Instagram and Twitter, or X, or whatever you call it these days. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I hope to talk to you very, very soon, Whitley.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, when we come forward, we do have a Who's Got Next and what not to miss on the other side. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Dominique DePrima here. Having a good credit score is one critical step to obtain a loan to buy a home. But did you know that your credit score is just one factor in getting a mortgage loan? Think about this. Lenders also consider your income, your employment history, current monthly debts, the size of the loan, and the amount of your down payment. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives support you in reaching them. Access your personal financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center proudly presents its 25th annual Real Black Men Short Film Showcase, September 22nd through September 24th. Join us for the opening night celebration on Friday, September 22nd, and enjoy the short film showcase featuring 47 films by emerging black male directors from across the country. Continuing on Saturday, September 23rd and Sunday, September 24th. All events will be held at the Regal LA Live Cinemas, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. For more information and tickets, visit bherc.org. That's bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. That's 323-957-4656. Don't miss your chance to celebrate excellence in black cinema all weekend long at the Real Black Men Short Film Showcase. See you there.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw Report.
With Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, let's get right into this. This song is so cool. It's Doe called When I Pray.
Whoa. Carrying all of the world on my shoulders, and it's getting too heavy for me. And y'all know I ain't no Hercules. Life moves on, stuff breaks down, people fall off. Gotta find a way to get over. Gotta find a way to get through, break through, heal. Struggles they last, and as time passes, it's been one thing after the other.
Looking forward and I see a fork in the road.
Hell if I know which way to go. I feel so alone. Life is so, so cold. I'm not very eloquent in speech. I don't always know how to sound holy when I speak. Papa told me something happened when I pray. I know I can get through when I pray. I know I can reach you when I call your name. You're never too busy for me. You're never too busy for me when I pray. I know I can get through when I pray. I know I can reach you when I call your name. You're never too busy for me. You're never too busy for me when I pray. I know you will never leave me dry. It's not in your nature to turn away. When the humble pray, when I cry, I know you will never leave me empty. It's not in your nature to turn away from the humble when I pray.
This is Joe, When I Pray. Whoa, I'm loving the vibe. Loving the vibe. I love this song. Yeah, you guys do too. Right now, y'all said you're loving it. You said you're loving it. All right. Well, listen, it has been a great show. I love the topics today. I love the engagement. Thank you so much for everybody who's checking in on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. And those of you who are listening on the app or the station, wherever you are listening to the Raw Report, we appreciate you so much. And what I don't want you to miss, listen, the MTV VMAs are happening tonight, and Diddy is getting the Icon Award, and so good for Diddy. Nice, good job. Yeah, but if you like watching people and performances and people in fashion, okay, go ahead and check that out. Again, that's MTV VMAs that's happening tonight. Thank you guys so much. You know, we're doing it again tomorrow, you know, same time, same place. I'm Robin Ayers. You listen, you can't change the station. Don't change the dial, because you already know Zoe Williams with the voice of reason. It's going to be hot like fire. He's coming up next when we come forward. Remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.